I think there's been a huge increase in knowledge about early mathematical learning for as many teachers are involved in the project, and in a small district, not compared to Maine, but in general across the United States, we only have 6 elementary schools. That's a pretty significant percentage of teachers that now in our district understand early learning progressions, math discourse, problem solving to a higher level with little children, K through 2, which is not always what early elementary tends to focus on. The professional development of early math learning and a stronger understanding of the learning progressions have made a difference in teachers' abilities to see the moments if kids have an error or they're talking about a problem they're solving in a certain way, and be able to use those moments and kind of target where that is on a learning progression for whatever math is being developed there. So if that moment can be noticed, which it's starting to become, then the right question can be asked to lift a student to the next place, because I did not have a firm understanding of number sense developmentally for 6 and 7-year-olds. I had a basic understanding, but not as deep as I do now. And when I reflect and I start thinking about some of the work that we did that was probably very closed, for example, teaching counting on a number grid, it's just kind of procedural. I think kids learned a maneuvering kind of mechanism there without really understanding what was happening with numbers. Having the support with the best practice from the research between coaching, being able to bring back artifacts to our group meetings and talk about what went well, what didn't, and I've had things that I thought went horrible and I found out later were really just part of the learning process, and that enabled me to take more risks and try more things in different places. Kindergarten here at Sherwood Heights, we focused on a lot of numeracy and number sense, and that team, when I first proposed some of the Common Core standards, what are involved, was very surprised to find out that shapes and patterns weren't, and calendar routines were not a big part of that, because that's such traditional kindergarten learning typically. And but it was great, like it opened up this aha, and then I want to learn more about this. So we started learning some. We focused on the composing and decomposing numbers 11 to 19, worked on some different games and strategies we could do. That worked its way into a task that Lori did recently, where kids got a target number and they had to show it in different ways as part of our group grant. So the same way that you would plan your non-digital tasks in your classroom, you want to plan for your technology class tasks. What is the learning behind it? What's the purpose? You have your, maybe even use a backwards design. Here's your outcome that you want to get. What are some steps that you can use to get there, and how can technology support that, as opposed to just here's an activity you can go do and it'll keep you quiet and it'll keep you engaged, so I can do the real learning over here at the reading group table. So there's, and people are all different levels. It's also it's big in education. You hear that a lot, how are you using technology? How are you using technology? And I think there's a lot of just head nodding. Oh yeah, I'm using technology, because you have the devices in the classroom. But are you using it to promote learning? Maybe you think you are, maybe you're not. So having some research to help guide the professional development. Everybody can do it, even the quiet kids. So everyone's got a voice, and it's recorded and can be shared.